My phone's got a pretty gnarly vibrate. So.
Oh, yeah, I probably should just throw it over.
There,
that's fine.
Okay,
I've got a good case on it.
I've got my notes on my phone, so I need it.
I don't.
But yeah. Anyway. Hey, everyone.
Hey, guys. What's going on?
This is episode 1 of the new podcast with us, Dragon Power. My name's Brian.
I'm Connor.
And we're going to be talking about games and movies and anime and all kinds of nerdy nonsense. So
anything and everything you guys like.
Yeah.
Maybe.
It should be fun. I know a little bit about stuff. Sometimes.
I also know just a little bit about stuff. That's a good start.
Just kick the desk. Mm-hmm. Perfect. It's exciting. I hope it shows up really loud.
I hope everyone's ears are bleeding right now.
Okay, so just a little bit about this. Connor and I have been friends for less than a year.
It's crazy.
Yeah, it's pretty wacky. But both of us had wanted to do a podcast for a long time. Just couldn't find anybody that we wanted to do that with. And then we ended up meeting and decided, hey, let's make that happen. So.
Yeah, let's be nerds together and people listen to this.
I'm ready to be nerds.
Yeah. Okay. So kind of the way we're going to go about doing things is we've got some segments laid out. So structure. That's how we like it. Very.
It's a new thing to me. So see how it works.
Yeah. So we're gonna do some cool segments, some different things. We're gonna have some news going on, and it should be fun. So if you're listening, I hope you enjoy it. If you don't enjoy it, well, I'm sorry.
I mean, come back next week and maybe you'll enjoy it more.
Maybe you'll like it better with different segments. All right. So, with that being said, Connor, what have you been up to this week?
All right. So, in terms of games, I've been kind of flip-flopping around between Rainbow Six Siege, Battlefront, the new, Star Wars Battlefront, and Fallout 4.
Huh.
Just kind of flip-flopping around between those. I can't really... Oh, and Guilty Gear if I, have to leave in like 20 minutes and I get a couple minutes of that.
Well, that's a solid lineup, man.
Yeah, it keeps me busy. That's pretty much... Don't expect it to change much next week. But
which one, out of those 4, which one have you been playing the most?
Either Rainbow Six Siege or Fallout 4, because Fallout 4 is like a time void where you just start playing it and you can't stop.
It's true.
Like, it's 4 a.m. and I have to go to work in 4 hours. So it's like, that's not good.
You're like, I'll just do one more Minutemen mission, and then
it's free the castle and
by alarms going off, being like, go to work. So, okay, cool, yeah.
And in terms of like television shows, I watched all of Ash vs. Evil Dead this week.
All of it?
Yeah.
How was that?
Well, not even this week, like in one night. So it was super good. Like, have you've seen Evil Dead 2, right?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, that's one of my favorite movies of all time. I really like Ash as a character, and he's just old and busted in this one, but he still thinks he's awesome.
Dude, I love Bruce Campbell.
He's so it's really good. I'll have to get you to watch it sometime.
Okay. No, that's fine. No, I've been wanting to watch it. I just haven't found myself in a position where I'm like, you know what? I'm gonna do this right now.
It's go ahead.
Oh no, sorry, I was just
it's super addicting, and it's literally like it's as good as Evil Dead 2 and 3.
I heard it's kind of violent.
Oh no, just a little bit. I mean, chainsaw arms, and shotguns, just a little bit,
stuff and things.
A little bit of blood, like
nice. Still
PG though.
Yeah, I believe it.
And then I've been watching. I've been watching Samurai Champloo, which is a really good anime. I'm on like episode 12.
Cool.
I started a couple months ago, and I'm just now getting back to finishing it.
Nice.
So, but that's pretty good. But anyway, that about wraps up my week. What about you, Brian?
Well, let's see. As far as games I've been playing, I actually haven't really been playing much this week. I've been kind of focused on taking care of stuff with, like I got my new car, and then trying to get stuff ready for this podcast and whatnot. However, I did download Dark Cloud on my PlayStation 4, which is an old PlayStation 2 game, and my goodness, I love that game.
Never played it.
Oh, it's amazing.
See, this is a good time to mention this. I was a Nintendo kid, and Brian was a PlayStation kid.
Yeah.
So,
but I mean, I was a Nintendo kid up until I got my first PlayStation. But even then, I mean, I still love Nintendo. I love all video games as long as they're fun.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah.
But so I played around with Dark Cloud a little bit. I picked up Dark Souls 2: Scholar of the First Sin again for like the millionth time, and that game is so frustratingly wonderful. I can't love the Dark Souls games.
See, I've never played them, so
No, you're gonna have to.
I know. I wanted to play Bloodborne. I'm just not burnt out on the whole fantasy thing, but I'll get around to it eventually.
You should check it out. It's brilliant. As far as watching goes, my brother KJ, he recommended to me the show House, which has been on for a long time.
Okay.
And I was like, I'm not really, but whatever. So I gave it a shot. I watched one episode a while back, and now I'm already on season 3.
Oh wow. Okay.
Yeah, it was earlier this week, so I've just been kind of blasting through House while I've been working in my room. So
I basically treat television shows as just really long movies. So
well, yeah, I mean that's the best way to do it.
They are.
That's why, like with TV shows like Game of Thrones and when Breaking Bad was still around, I would wait until the entire seasons were out before I would watch them, because waiting an entire week for a new episode is a nightmare.
Yeah. Okay.
But yeah, so that's pretty much what I've been doing this week.
Cool.
So cool. Yeah, bonus party. Really action-packed lives we live.
Yeah,
So
a bunch of nerds sitting in our basement playing video games.
all right, so we're gonna go into our next segment here. This one should be a lot of fun. I actually have no idea what Connor's going to say, but it's a segment with Connor, and it is what happened this month 10 years ago.
A decade. And
Yeah.
early times of 2006, when I was 11.
So let's get into it.
All right, so this month, a decade ago, the PlayStation Portable makes a profit of 7 billion yen, the first time in 11 years that the company avoided an annual loss.
Oh, snap.
Did you ever pick up a PlayStation Portable?
I sure did. It was funny that the first time I picked one up, I had to open it in the car on the way home. It was me and my girlfriend at the time, and I picked it up and I was just so pumped. I was like, "Can you drive?" She's like, "Yes." And I picked it up and I turned it on, and it had like 7 dead pixels on it. That's right out of the box. So I had to bring it back to Game Crazy at Hollywood Video.
Oh, wow.
And a buddy of mine, Chris, was working there. And I was like, "Dude, there's dead pixels." He's like, "That sucks." So he gave me a new one.
That sucks. Suck it up. All right.
But
no, I want a new one.
That's funny. That's cool, man.
Yeah.
What else?
I never had a PlayStation Portable. I was, like I said, a Nintendo kid, and I was like, I don't need that. I just want to play Pokemon on my DS.
I bet you had yourself a Game Boy, didn't you?
Yeah. I've called every Nintendo Portable a Game Boy, even up like to a 3DS. I'm like, hey mom, where's my Game Boy? She's like, you mean your DS? I'm like, no, it's a Game Boy.
Oh, dude, you know it's bad when your mom's correcting you.
Yeah, she's like, no.
That's awesome.
Anyway, all right. Next up, we got Nintendo announces a new handheld, the DS Lite.
Whoa, I remember the DS Lite, dude.
So when I was a wee baby, a long time ago, my dad would always do this joke where he'd like, "You already have a DS. Why do you need another one?" And I get so mad eventually that I wrote up a paper of all the reasons why I should have a DS Lite. And I was like, all right, Dad, you keep asking me what's the difference between this and the old one. So I'm like, here you go. Like, we already get like upgrade screen, better sound, like it's more portable. And he was like, so what's the difference? I was like, ugh, no, don't do that.
That's hilarious.
Did you ever have a DS Lite?
I did. I owned a pink one.
My sister had a pink one.
Because that's metal.
Nothing more metal than... It was like coral pink. It wasn't even hot pink.
Yeah, it was like it was bright.
Like a muted. Yeah. That's good. All right. So next up we got Konami announces a list of titles expected to ship in 2006, including Beat Mania, DDR Supernova, and my personally favorite game, Metal Gear Solid 3 Subsistence.
Yeah.
So you've never played Subsistence or
well,
Solid 3?
I fired it up and I played it for about an hour, and I guess I just wasn't in the right frame of mind because it did not capture me.
Yeah, it's the beginnings. It's very it's a Metal Gear game, so it's very plot heavy.
Yeah.
So, like, the very beginning, there's all this geopolitical nonsense, or not nonsense, just geopolitical rambling about both sides of the Cold War and whatever, and Big Boss, just Boss at that point, because it wasn't Big Boss.
Are there mushrooms and turtle shells?
Oh, there's mushroom.
Oh.
It might be turtle shells.
Sweet.
All right, cool. All right. And DDR, I don't even know what Beat Mania is. Didn't do my research. I think it's probably some sort of rhythm game.
It's a rhythm game.
Yeah, and I know what DDR is because
Sure.
Anyway, speaking of DDR, that's a sick segue. Public schools in West Virginia add DDR to their PE curriculum in an effort to combat obesity.
Oh.
So, in middle school, speaking of this, my school did this. And,
oh, really?
So hilarious. What they did is they lined up about 50 or 60 something awkward middle school kids, and they had 2 game pads. So what everyone else would do is they'd pretend they were on the gamepad, and so it would be like all the arrows line up. It would be like left, right, up, down, jump, left, jump both. And but there's only 2. So like, what we ended up doing is we just like sway back and forth, and we're like, all right, this is really stupid. Until we got up to the pad.
That's amazing.
And then we just like go all out because we were like, yeah, everyone watch me, I'm so cool.
That's funny.
Just kidding, I didn't do that because I was an awkward middle school kid.
You know, it's funny. I actually had I have a friend. I won't name names, but I have a friend who lost a ton of weight on DDR. His mom would just give him tons of quarters. And just be like, go to the arcade and play DDR. He'd be like, sweet, and it was awesome. It was the transformation was pretty great. But
video games can do good,
right?
Mm-hmm. I love it. I'm terrible at DDR.
Me too.
That's like
I can't dance to save my life. So.
Me neither. That's why we listen to heavy metal.
I guess
headbanging's really easy. Anyway, on the last segment of This Month a Decade Ago. Rockstar and Take-Two Interactive get sued over the hot coffee mod.
I remember this.
I don't, because my mom didn't allow me to play.
Gotcha. I mean, because I never saw the hot coffee mod or did the hot coffee mod, but I just remember it exploding and you know, that being a platform for game-hating angry parents to be like, see, I told you this game was horrible and blah, 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 blah. And it was like,
terrible influence.
Yeah, it's like, well, I mean, Rockstar, they had to pull everything off the shelves and then reissue the game.
In their defense, 10 years ago, it wasn't actually in part of the I forget the financial term for it is. Wasn't part of the real release. I can't.
Oh, gotcha.
Yeah, so I mean, I don't think it should be sued over something that's actually not in the game.
Well, yeah. Well, I think it was. I think it was left over. Like, it was an idea, and it was like still the code was still left in there, and then people just found it.
Because I remember the modders when it first came out. Like, I read up on this a couple years ago. They're like, oh, I never knew that because I was too young to care. But that the modders actually smoothed over some of the animations to make it work better. So, but like, again, it's not part of the. I still can't think of the word. The actual release of the game, so I mean, I feel like this shouldn't really be sued over something that you can't access through.
Sure, I mean, and it's whatever.
I mean,
what's really funny is they've got stuff that's worse than that in like the current, you know, true release of like current Grand Theft Auto games. So it's just funny how times change and people get upset over different things. Like
first person mode is so mean. Like, someone was playing, it's like, could you check me out? He like hammers just beating random civilians. I was like, oh, this actually feels mean now. That I'm not,
it's intense.
You know, 10 feet away with the camera. So, no releases. There's only like 5 that I could find.
Oh,
people would actually care about.
January releases? Wacky.
Yeah,
okay.
We have Electroplankton.
Oh, I remember that game. It was my favorite game of all time. I have no idea what that game is.
Me neither, but it's a stage in Smash Brothers Brawl.
Okay.
So I was like, oh, that's cool. I'll put that in there so I can say that I played Smash Brothers Brawl. Anyway, and then we have that was on the DS, by the way.
Okay.
Mega Man Collection X. Sorry,
Ooh.
Mega Man X Collection came out on January 10th,
I love
2006.
Mega Man. I love me some Mega Man.
I'm not super versed in the Mega Man universe, but I have played Mega Man X, and that is a fantastic game.
Oh my gosh, it's so solid.
It's so good. That's like,
it's one of the best. It's one of my favorite Super Nintendo games.
I hate that Mega Man's dead now. But
well, I mean, it's not dead. They're just sitting on it, and they're like, we're not gonna do nothing because we hate Keiji Inafune. So
he's making Mighty Number 9 though, so that's cool.
I'm pretty pumped on that too.
And that came out on the GameCube and the PlayStation 2. I remember going to my sister's gymnastics classes, and some dude had like a full setup, like with a GameCube and everything, and this is all he'd play, like in the corner of like the cafeteria of the gym that my sister's in. He was like,
just tearing
he's
it
like
up.
this 16-year-old kid playing Mega Man. I was like, I want to be that guy when I grow up.
You still can be. Connor.
I still can.
You just gotta believe.
It's just crazy. And then we put this on here for fun. We have 25 to Life.
Ew.
Which is a interesting crime game.
Yeah. That was probably the nicest thing anyone's ever said about that game.
Interesting.
Interesting crime game.
Hey, we'll play some 25 to Life, buddy. Like, no, we're not friends anymore, dude. That came out on January 17th on the personal computer, or the PC for all you kids out there. And the PlayStation 2 and the Xbox original, because I can't say one, because that's a new thing. Then we have Samurai Showdown 5.
Ooh, I love Samurai Showdown.
Did you ever play that? Yeah. I figured you... I have no idea what this is. I figured you would know what it is more than I would.
Samurai Showdown is it's a fantastic fighting game, kind of in the same vein as like King of Fighters.
Okay.
Or like Fatal Fury. It was in that same era.
Okay, I remember hearing about it, but I have.
Yeah, it's pretty dope. There's some really cool characters in that game.
Okay.
So.
Sick. That came out on the Xbox on January 18th. And I put this on here because I played this a lot. The Marble Blast Ultra came out in January 20th.
Marble Blast?
Marble Blast
Oh,
Ultra.
Marble Blast Ultra.
Yeah.
Okay.
What do you think I said?
I thought you said Marvel Blast Ultra.
Marble Blast! No. Yeah, I remember in like 6th grade, we had these on my computer. This is not... This is the Xbox XBLA version.
Okay. I got you. Right.
Yeah, I played this a lot in like 6th grade on my computer because every computer in my school had it, and it was like the best game ever. It was just crazy. Like, I loved it.
That's awesome.
And I've beaten every level except the very last level, and it sucks because once you beat the last level, you can make your own levels, and it's just like, it's ridiculously cool, and I can never do it. So, that came out on January 25th,
Sweet.
2006. So, that's a decade ago.
Nice.
What? I said a year, a decade ago.
This month,
a decade ago.
We'll get it down.
Yeah, well, hopefully. But yeah.
Cool, man. Thanks for all that info. I actually didn't know like the majority of those, so that's cool.
Sweet.
So now we're gonna kind of go into the meat and potatoes of
I like both
episode
of those.
1. I do too. So this segment, we're going to talk about our favorite. Well, I wouldn't say favorite, but our top
picks.
Top picks for scariest non-horror games and least scary horror games.
Okay.
So let's get into it.
See what we got. All right. So you want to go first, or
sure? Yeah, I can go first.
All right. Since I just
actually, let's alternate back and forth.
Yeah.
So let's start with I say let's start with non-scary horror games. So I'll throw out my my number 3 is Slender: The Arrival.
You didn't think it was scary?
Well, okay. It's got a creepy atmosphere and everything to it, but when compared to and this is my personal opinion. I mean, everyone feel free to disagree with me, but my personal opinion, the original game that came out on PC, Slender: The 8 Pages, that free-to-play download game, was way scarier to me than Slender: The Arrival. When they upped the budget and they added like a storyline and all this, that, and the other, it just kind of felt like a cheesy horror movie at that point to me, instead of like something just truly terrifying. Because in the original game, you climb a fence, you've got a flashlight, you're picking up pages, doesn't tell you why. Slenderman. Slenderman. You'll never work in this town again, Slenderman. That one's for you, Piper. It's way more scary when you don't know what's going on.
Okay. Well, that game's super scary to me, so that's Brian's opinion, not mine, because that game will still scare the pants off me.
All right. So what's your number 3?
My number 3 is I recently just played this game, and you'll like this. I put Deadly Premonition.
Oh, yeah!
Because that's technically a horror game, but it's so weird in Japanese that it just somehow is not a horror game.
That's amazing.
It's just like, find the can of pickles. You're like, I'm scared. I'm so scared right now. Like, although the enemies in that game are really kind of scary, but the combat's so easy.
Isn't there a moment in it where you're in your car and there's like a giant wolf like chasing you or something like that? Am I just completely off my rocker?
No, that is a thing, but like what happens at for whatever reason, and I forget how they explain the game, but it's like at midnight every night, like all the monsters come out in the city, like all the dudes you fight in the dungeons, and the giant dog is one of those. But if you never went out at midnight in a city, because like I don't know who would, there's a giant dog that's just a regular enemy that chases you at the later parts of the game. You're driving like, oh, what is that? And you just keep driving. You're like, oh, and then you realize you're in the car and they can't hurt you because it's an old PS2 game. So.
That's amazing. Yeah, my buddy Aaron showed that game to me, and man, I thought that was so freaking funny. Okay.
Dude, check this out. It was a cool dog out.
All right, so, okay, my number 2 is going to be Dead Space 3.
Okay. Because of the shoot bangs?
Yeah, it's basically, I mean,
okay.
It's not a bad game per se, but it's kind of like Michael Bay presents Dead Space 3.
Okay.
Dead Space 1 is one of my favorite horror games of all time.
Back when EA cared.
Yeah, it was so good. It was just, it hit me just right. That game just captured my imagination. I loved it so much.
Okay.
Dead Space 2 I thought was really good. It was kind of like in between horror and what Dead Space 3 came to be. And then Dead Space 3 came out and it was just kind of like, all right, this is all just about,
it's like all just
bang
guns and
kablooies.
Boom.
Yeah.
Don't they start you off with the like a regular pistol, not the laser cutter?
Yeah, the intro sequence or like the prologue or whatnot for the game, you've just got like an assault rifle right off the bat. So it's like
super dumb.
Yeah, it's like blah 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 blah. Take that, you zombie! That'll teach you. And it's like, oh, I'm so scared right now. All right, what's your number 2?
Number 2 is Dead Rising.
Dead Rising. Okay.
I'm gonna consider it, like, I had to cheat for these because like I don't play many horror games. Brian's the resident.
Hey.
Like Resident Evil. Anyway, Brian's the resident horror game fanatic, and I'm too much of a loser to sit through it. But there are some I have played, like all the good ones. But anyway, my next one's Dead Rising.
Okay.
Because it's a goofy zombie game.
It sure is.
Kill zombies with bowling balls and whatever else you can imagine.
And taking pictures of them.
Like it's like, yeah. Nice.
I know. I love whenever you take a picture of the zombies, like the little things that Frank says is so funny.
Nice. Brutality.
Nice. He's all excited. That's hilarious. Okay, cool.
Yep.
All right, and my number 1 least scary horror game is Resident Evil 5.
Okay. Punching boulders isn't scary?
Yeah, so good. They tried to capitalize on the success of Resident Evil 4 with that game, but they just tried to do all these like action set pieces, and I don't know, just it lost any scariness that the games had before that.
That's just the weirdest transition. You go from Resident Evil 4, which is considered by many one of the best games ever made, to just like a shooter. Like
I mean, if you play Resident Evil 5 with the thought process of I'm playing a like an action game with some horror elements, I guess, then the game's actually pretty fun. It's got some cool scenery and it looks pretty nice, and but as far as a horror game goes, it's not scary at all.
Yeah,
not even a little bit. So
that's weird.
What's your number 1?
So I put Doom in.
That's a solid choice too.
Doom 2, because you get all these demons coming out, and you're like, woo! I have a shotgun, and you just kill all of them.
Yeah.
And it's really not scary at all, because you're just a big burly man with a shotgun.
Which is funny, because Doom 3 ended up being one of the best horror games ever. It's so scary. The game is terrifying.
The new Doom's coming out, which is back to the old ones,
which I'm
really good.
Excited about.
I'm also excited for that.
Cool, man. That's a solid choice.
Yeah.
All right, so now on to the scariest non-horror games, and I have 3 in an honorable mention.
Okay.
So, because I put one of these games on honorable mention because I don't want to get like yelled at by anyone who's listening if I label the genre of this game wrong, because for all I know it's like a super horror game. But the honorable mention I had was Limbo.
Okay.
To me, that was not necessarily a horror game. It was just terrifying. Like the environment was really uncomfortable. It was really creepy. But I don't know. Maybe if it's a horror game, then I rescind everything that I just said. So
Okay.
But my number 3 is Jammer Lammy for PlayStation 1. It was
that's like the Parappa the Rapper kind of thing.
Yes,
but
except you're playing with a guitar.
Yeah.
There are some sequences and moments in that game that are just nightmare-inducing.
Okay, you'll have to show them to me later.
Well, I mean, like it's little things. Like
the little things.
There's a moment where you play a baby as a guitar.
That's metal.
It kind of is, yeah. There's a scene where there's a really angry beaver lumberjack yelling at you with a chainsaw.
That's metal.
Yeah, that is also metal.
All right.
There's this dream sequence. I mean, it's just the character sprites and some of the dialogue is just really creepy to me.
Okay. That's
I know.
Okay, I can dig it.
It's a weird choice, but whatever.
All right, so my number 3 is a game that Brian recommended to me because I never played them because I was always a Nintendo kid. Is Uncharted 1's Nazi base sequence.
Oh, okay.
Where all the weird, I forget what they're called in the game, but all the weird monsters coming at
The
you.
Oogie Boogie monsters.
Oh, all right, well, they kind of look like the Wendigo from Until Dawn.
Yeah.
But that's like way before that. But that really scared me because I was expecting, yeah, I'm Indiana Jones. I'm going to shoot some things. Like, hey, here's some really cool monsters in Nazi base. I was like, oh okay.
Okay.
I'm going to sit in this corner and wait for them all to come at me. It was
awesome.
It was really jarring. But
I love the Uncharted series.
That was a sick sequence that I did not expect.
Yeah, man.
So that's my number 3.
My number 2 is Half-Life 2.
Okay.
The Ravenholm sequence.
Totally see that.
Because, I mean, the game isn't necessarily scary, but once you get to Ravenholm and there's like the poison head crabs, and the first time you run into like a fast zombie, you're like, what is happening? Oh, I hate this, I hate this, I hate this.
I don't want to play this game anymore.
Yeah, I'm done, I quit, it's stupid, I'm gonna play Madden.
Screw you, Valve.
So, yeah, that game is awesome. I haven't played it in a long time, but I just remember hating that sequence because it was creepy.
Okay. Well, my number 2 is, you've never gotten to it, but we will eventually, is an Ocarina of Time. The Bottom of the Well / Shadow Temple. I kind of throw those together.
Okay.
But you've never gotten that far, so I don't want to spoil anything. But for the game that's like 20 years old, almost 20 years old at this point. Wow, we'll be 20 years old. Anyway, I'm getting off topic. Ocarina of Time's Bottom of the Well and Shadow Temple sequence are really freaking horrifying because the all right, I'll sum it up this way. The final boss you fight or in the Bottom of the Well and the mid boss you fight in Shadow Temple is so you walk into a room and there's just hands, really long, slender hands sticking out of the ground.
That's exciting.
And you're just kind of walking around and then they grab you and then this giant blob-like creature comes out with a human face that
as it should.
Yeah, after one of the disembodied hands grabs you.
Dang.
And it comes towards you and then but its head's like upright and then when it comes towards you it starts going down like screaming at you and it's like, oh, this game's rated E. But along with some other things in that temple, like, there's like a giant skull that flies around the temple the whole time and it's not and Bottom of the Well and it's really freaking horrifying.
That's awesome.
And then there's like blood everywhere and it's like, oh, okay,
this game's rated E. I like
that. That's like, I keep looking, it's like, wow, they really need it back then.
All right, so my number 1, I already know what your number 1 is. And I was gonna pick. No, we had talked about it like 2 weeks ago. Or
that's right.
Like that. But I was gonna have that as my number 1. But since you brought it up, I figured.
Okay.
You have rights.
Well, thank you, Brian.
Yeah, sure, man. No problem.
Yeah.
I'm always willing to help. But my number 1 scariest non-horror game, I'm going to say, is Batman Arkham Asylum.
Okay.
Or scariest non-horror game.
Like the Scarecrow sequence?
Scarecrow sequences are crazy. Just the environment in the game in general is... It's really dark. And it was awesome. There's a lot of moments where I was just like, this environment is so everything I've ever wanted in a
dark and brooding
Batman game. Yeah. So that game has some cool scary moments in it. So
okay. Well, Well, my number one.
Yeah,
since
which
I'm
is
having my brain's failing me.
spiritually my number one also.
Yeah, what we share the same number one. Is Max Payne 1's dream sequence.
Oh man,
So-
screw that noise.
Yeah. So
Just running on a trail of
Let's see.
blood.
We got trails of blood. We got babies crying. We got terrible platforming. All of those things come together in a terrible, terrible sequence.
And a glorious, wonderful,
an
amazing,
amazing
super
game.
easy to control experience.
I love old platforming in games that shouldn't have platforming.
Yeah, like
it's ridiculous.
You know, it'd be funny if we just threw in some jumping segments in this game.
And glow in the dark, bloody platforms. Oh,
Nailed it.
that's crazy.
Cool. So yeah, that's fun. I love that game. I remember buying
So do
that
I.
game. I bought that game the night before a big snowstorm where I
Okay.
lived, and it knocked out the power during the night.
Oh,
So I couldn't play it for like 3 days.
that's terrible.
Oh, dude, I was just like, you know,
no.
I'm like a young kid, and I'm just like looking at the box art, just being like, oh, I want this so bad.
Time to read the instruction manual for the fourth time. I remember that's something I would do every time I'd buy a new game, or my mom would buy me a new game. I'd just read the instruction manual like front and back, like, oh, this game's so cool, I can't wait till we get home. But I can't imagine doing that for 3 days.
Yeah, no, it was a nightmare. And then finally when the power kicked on, no joke, I was in the middle of doing something with my brother. I think we were like, we were playing some game, like a board game or something, and the power comes back on, and I just sprinted up the stairs without saying anything.
He's like, Brian.
He was like, what the heck? So yeah, I fired that bad boy up, and
That's hilarious.
it was great.
Cool.
Well, that's the end of this segment. That was fun. I
Yes.
love horror games.
I also not to as much as a degree, but I also enjoy horror games.
Cool, man. All right. So up next, we are gonna hit.
Stay tuned.
Yeah, we're gonna hit some of the biggest gaming news bits that
Okay.
have happened recently. So let's make it happen.
Yeah. All right. All right. So this would be belonging to me since I actually did the research, Brian.
Yeah. Well, hey, you know what?
it-
We already agreed ahead of time you were
It's
doing
okay.
news.
I
Go
know.
ahead.
Whatever. Battlefront reaches 13 million sales. So we kind of want to talk about this because I hear a lot of people griping, or we hear a lot of people
Yeah.
griping about the game.
It's like I think it's. I mean, don't get me wrong. I understand the EA hatred bandwagon because they're EA,
Yeah.
and I also understand the gripe that there isn't a whole lot of content in the game, especially in
Four maps.
the ways of
Five.
maps. Yeah, but the game, as it is a fantastic Star Wars game. It feels so good to
There's-
play in the Star Wars universe.
Mm-hmm.
So I give it to them for creating a really killer Star Wars universe that we're allowed to take part in, and not even just like on foot with blasters. Like they've got the speeder bikes from Return of the Jedi. There are aerial battles with TIE fighters and X-wings. You can pilot AT-STs and AT-ATs even, which is ludicrous. I never even but that was not even something that ever crossed my
Have
mind.
you ever been able to do that in another game? Pilot ATs?
I don't know. I'm not going to say no because I don't want to be wrong, but I personally don't remember
can't
there
recall.
ever being a sequence where you could pilot an AT-AT. But yeah, man, the game is a blast, and with although you can't take split screen multiplayer online, the local split screen multiplayer is so much fun to play with people.
Oh yeah.
Doing survival mode or just all the other modes you can do in the game.
Okay. There's all these little nuances, and like I can tell there's a lot of love put in the game. Like whenever you like capture checkpoints, like ba 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 ba. It's like it's really cool. And then when you load up the game, it's like, hey, go kill some rebels as Darth Vader. I was like, oh, I love this game. Like sick. Like
Yeah, while it's installing, it's like, hey, why don't you
It's
kill some
good.
rebels? And you're like, thanks, game.
I kind of just wish if I could just go back and just do that because it's so fun.
You can. There's a training mode
there
where
is?
you can just play as Darth Vader.
Oh yeah.
It's dope. Yeah.
Okay, because Darth Vader is one of my favorite.
You can also play
villains
as
of
the
all time.
Emperor.
Emperor's not as fun to me.
I agree, but I think that's weird that you're just like hobbling around as Palpatine and Hoth. You're just like,
do it.
zzz, 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 do it.
Do it. But it's just like, Emperor's not as cool. Like,
No, he's not.
Boba Fett and Darth Vader are on point, but in their defense, I can't see like a third character they would put on the villain side. Other than like another,
Maybe a
'cause
Wampa. I'm just kidding. Doing a throwback to Shadows of the Empire. Remember?
Oh, yeah.
Wampa Stompa?
You could put a cheat
You
code
put that code in. You can play as a
Wampa.
Wampa.
Wampas are scary, dude.
Yeah, they are.
They're freaking beat. They're just Yetis.
Yes.
That's all they
just
are.
Angry Star Wars Yetis.
Angry Star Wars Yetis.
That's awesome.
But like everything about I'm a huge Star Wars nerd, but everything about that game just makes me just happy.
Yeah, man.
Like
as it should be.
Like
just appreciate it for what it is.
When you boot up heroes and villains, it's like you will spawn as Luke Skywalker. It's like, oh, I love Luke Skywalker. I want to play as Luke Skywalker. Yeah, and then I die immediately. But it's cool because I'm like, I'm Luke Skywalker. It's okay.
All right, what's next, man?
What we got next is we got it's a bit late to announce this, but we have AGDQ was this week.
Oh, cool.
For those of you who did not watch it or whatever, AGDQ is Awesome Games Done Quick, which is a charity event that happens every January, and then there's Summer Games Done Quick, which happens July-ish or something like that. I can't remember. But watching speedruns is something that I like to live through vicariously because
Sure.
I would never practice a game to a point where I could just do it in 20 minutes.
Yeah, no, I got you.
But it's really sick to watch all these people doing something for a good cause. Be like, hey, video games are not just mindless violence.
Yeah, man. Seeing some of the stuff that these guys come up with in order to bypass certain segments of games is like, how did that thought process even come to be?
I have no idea how people just come up with. Because I was watching Mega Man 2 last night, and I was like, oh yeah, this is pixel perfect. I was like, how? What did the first guy who did this? What did he do? Was it an accident? I can't be an accident because I know people who they go out and search for these things. But I guess once you know how the game works and you discover like a bug in one area, I guess you try it in many areas as possible.
Oh, okay, well, that makes sense.
But like one of my favorite speedruns to watch is, I think it was last year's, the years before, is F-Zero GX.
Okay.
Because we went through all of the tracks, and it's crazy all the tech you can do that game.
That's awesome.
It's just ridiculous.
I think the closest thing I've ever come to being able to like blast through a game's done quick at that level.
Yeah.
Is the original Resident Evil on PlayStation. I could beat it fast enough to where you get like the rocket launcher and stuff.
Okay. I could probably I played Ocarina of Time enough where I could probably do it if I wanted to, but that game's like, I think the world record's like 4 or 5 hours. And it's like, I just don't want to go through Ocarina of Time in 4. I don't want to sit down and play games for 4 hours straight. Like, I'm like, all right, Mega Man's 20 minutes. Like, okay.
Yeah, I can do that.
That's good. But anyway.
That's cool.
If you, it's a bit late. By the time this goes up, it will already be over. But if you guys watched it, cool.
But they do archive. They do
archive it, and
so.
I haven't watched as much of it as I wanted to.
And I'm not sure, even though they archive it, I'm not sure, don't quote me on this, but I think there's still the option to donate if
there might be
with the archival footage as well. But if there's not, then
they definitely won't turn down your money.
Sure, but still, it's fun to watch if you're bored and you just want to see people blast through games way faster than
people who are
they rightfully should be.
Very high level of skill.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Goes into speedrunning. And it's something of like a niche thing too, where niche thing too, where it's like speedrunning's not as big as like, I don't know, like competitive fighting games or like esports, but it's gained a lot of groundswell. It's really cool,
and it's for a good cause, and that's the best part about it.
Yeah,
is that it's like playing video games to raise money, which is awesome.
It's really cool.
All right, what's next, man?
Let's see. We got Brian insisted we put this on here because I'm also a huge fan, but Scalebound was delayed until 2017.
Oh, so heartbreaking.
So I don't know much about Scalebound. Lackfully, I watched the trailer, but I love Platinum, and that's basically why I love the game.
See, for me, man, like when I saw that first gameplay footage trailer they released, oh man, I was so ready. I was like, I want this now. And then I saw that it was an Xbox One exclusive, and I was like, all right. I mean, I don't have an Xbox One, so eventually I'm going to get one.
Again.
If there's any, yeah. I mean, I've had an Xbox One before, but you know, stuff and things happen.
Yep.
So, Scalebound is the first game Xbox One wise where I was like, I just have to have this game.
Okay.
And it is a system seller for me. So when they said that it was getting pushed back to 2017, like 3 days into 2016,
Happy New Year.
I was like, oh, come on. That sucks so bad. But at the same time, I'm one of those guys that's like, go ahead and push the game back. If it needs to get pushed back in order to be absolutely incredible, by all means do it. I can wait. I would rather you do that than release a broken game that people are going to be pissed off about, that gets patched later. By the time it gets patched and fixed and up to where you wanted it to be in the first place, people are going to be upset about it, and there's already going to be, negative feelings toward it. So
Nintendo has said that a delayed game is eventually good, but a rushed game is bad forever. So I believe that's true. Yeah, it sucks to wait a little bit longer, but I don't have an Xbox One anyway, so it doesn't affect me.
Sure.
And I won't get one until for me, it's just another year without an Xbox One.
Yeah.
Like the only other game I'd play is Killer Instinct, and even then, it's like there's other fighting games I could play.
Sure. And Killer Instinct's amazing.
Oh yeah,
for the longest time,
super good game.
When I first got my Xbox One, I called it my Killer Instinct box.
Oh yeah.
Because that was pretty
That's
much
all
all I fired it up for.
Mm-hmm. But it just sucks. But Platinum's awesome.
Platinum is amazing.
Like, it says something for a company that's I love so much that if they just announce a game, I don't care what it's about. I'll just be like, all right, I'll buy it. Like, cool. Like, it's crazy.
Yeah. No, exactly.
Speaking of Platinum, I just want to. Did you want to say anything else about?
Nope,
that?
I'm good with that.
I want to sneak this in here that the Platinum Turtles achievement list has been leaked.
That's right. And
so,
I am one of the biggest Ninja Turtles fans ever.
And I just want Casey Jones to be playable. But that's it.
Oh, man, that would be awesome.
Casey Jones is my favorite turtle.
Do you know who CM Punk is?
Yes.
The wrestler?
Mm.
I remember him saying something at one point in time that he wanted to play Casey Jones in a Ninja Turtles movie. And I was like,
okay,
that is solid. That would be a super solid choice. Phil Brooks, he's got that attitude to him to where he would be, the 90s skateboarding, grinding, sunglasses attitude. No, I'm just kidding. But Capri Suns, Sunny D, purple stuff.
Go-Gurt?
Yeah, Go-Gurt.
Woo!
But I thought that would be pretty cool. But no, Platinum making a Ninja Turtles game gives me super high hopes because my most recent favorite Ninja Turtles game is Turtles in Time on the Super Nintendo.
Oh, most recent, huh?
Yeah.
I need to buy that Turtles beat 'em up. That was for the GameCube. You'll like that a lot. I don't think you'll beat out Turtles in Time, but I think you'll respect it for what it is. All right, so that's all for the Platinum cast for today, folks.
Cool.
So
yeah.
I'm just kidding.
This is the big one, right? This is
this is the one
really
that
cool.
This is really cool to me because I remember reading about this a couple years ago. But a blind gamer beats Ocarina of Time after 5 years using sound cues and tips from Let's Players.
That's so crazy to me.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
Because that game's hard enough without even being blind.
Yeah.
So,
like, kudos to him.
I can't imagine doing the Water Temple. You won't know what this is. But I'll just describe it to you. Water Temple is where you have to change a bunch of water levels in a temple to try and get to doors that you need to go to. It's a common theme, but like it's done pretty poorly.
I never beat Ocarina of Time, but I made it almost to the very end.
Oh,
but I was like 11 years old.
So you don't remember much.
I don't remember much about it at all. So, or maybe 12. It was like 12 or 13 years old. But
it's been a while.
It's been a very long time since I've played Ocarina of Time. I actually just put Ocarina of Time on my cell phone. So
really,
yeah.
Cool.
And it runs like a champ. Speaking of which, remind me after this, I want to show that to you.
Okay.
I remember putting it on there, seeing if it ran well, and I was like, oh, dude, Connor will lose his mind.
There's too many buttons on it for a touchscreen.
But I have a Bluetooth controller, so.
Okay, fair enough.
It makes it dope. But that's crazy. So good job to that guy, because that is a commitment,
a feat.
Right? And a feat. Beating a very difficult video game when not being able to see it is awesome. So good job.
As I was saying, like the Water Temple thing was like I don't know how you know where you're going or like how do you navigate menus.
Yeah, well,
like,
he did say it took him 5 years
Yeah,
to do
it
it,
took
so
him
it was
5
probably
years to
like 6 months for the rest of the game and 4.5 years for the water temple.
Okay, fair enough. I remember reading something that when he was starting this, like a long time ago, where he was using his sword also
Okay.
as like a it was like a tap stick or whatever it's called. And that's how he went through a while, and it took him to kind of like map it out in his mind where
Okay.
he'd go through it. And then like I totally forgot about it because I thought he beat it at that point. It's like, oh, that's cool. But like it turns out like he beat it just now or like this week.
That's
and
crazy,
using
man.
like I saw a video of him doing it. He had his speaker set up. He was in like a armchair and had his speaker set up on both arms, and he was like facing at him. And it's like it's just crazy.
That's awesome.
I love human stuff like that.
Agreed.
You want to go over a couple? We got some more stuff here we can talk about. Let's see. I just kind of want to say this. Hideo Kojima will be inducted into the Gaming Hall of Fame. Brian knows this, but I'm a huge Metal Gear fan.
Yes.
Like, I try to go like one sitting, hanging out with him, and try not to talk about it.
It's yet to happen.
It's yet to happen.
You talk about Metal Gear Solid, or just Metal Gear in general, at least 2 or 3 times every time we hang out.
No,
it comes up no matter what.
I can't stop.
Even if it's just you looking at me and going, Metal Gear.
Metal Gear. Meryl.
Meryl. Colonel.
I love Metal Gear so much. I'm going to be cosplaying as a Venom Snake in the coming months.
Cool.
I'm working my arm right now. That has nothing to do with Hideo. Well, actually, it has everything to do with Hideo Kojima. But congratulations to Hideo Kojima being inducted to the Gaming Hall of Fame.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Because Hideo is really cool. I love him. But anyway, is there anything else you look at that list you want to talk about?
Let me see here. If anything really noteworthy. I think it's awesome that The Force Awakens toppled Titanic, which is something that I was always wondering, like, what is that new movie that's going to come out and just start stomping other movies into the ground? And a lot of analysts are saying that it's not going to topple Avatar.
I don't think it will.
But I'm not going to just go ahead and jump on that bandwagon. I want to wait and see, because that movie is so good. And it's deserving of the amount of money it's getting. There's a lot of people out there with a lot of obnoxious and annoying nitpicky complaints about the movie, and it's like, dude, it's an awesome Star Wars movie. Just enjoy the Star Wars. The people who are like, well, actually, this happened and this shouldn't have happened and this doesn't make sense because of blah blah blah. It's like, shut up.
I really want to talk about it, but I know that some people listening probably haven't seen it.
Yeah, we'll let it go for now.
But anyway,
I think that's great.
If you haven't seen Force Awakens, you should do it. And if you've seen it, you should do it again.
Yeah, absolutely. No, seeing it a second time with like none of the stress that came with seeing it the first time, because I was so worried about spoilers, and I was worried about people talking in the theater, and some kid with a big forehead kicking me in the back of the head. Like I was worried that it was going to be an unpleasant viewing experience. It ended up being awesome, but the second time I saw it, I was able to just chill, and it's like if something did go down, I'm like, that's okay, I've already seen this, blah blah blah. So, but it was awesome both times.
I mean, and I saw it opening day, like the first showing, because I was like, I want to see that. I can't wait another minute for this movie, and B, I want to see it before everyone spoils it. Exactly. And I think someone spoiled it before the movie came out. I think, if I'm not mistaken, someone spoiled it on the internet, because someone always does.
Yeah. I actually deleted all of my social media apps off my phone for the week leading up to the day I was going to go see it.
Okay.
So I was actually really productive that week. So that goes to show you.
That's hilarious.
But yeah, anyway, cool. So that is the news for this week.
Big news.
Woo! Great.
Cool.
So we're gonna go into a fun segment here. I'm pretty excited about this one.
All right. I don't know if I should be excited or scared, because I might be exposed as a fraud.
We're gonna do what we're calling Try and Stump Me, Brian edition. I've got some trivia questions here for Connor.
Okay.
Some are easy, some are not. We'll see how well you know. I've only got 6 questions here.
Only 6?
5 are pretty normal. 6 is kind of a bonus specifically geared towards you and your knowledge of a certain game.
Okay, so what do I win?
You win the satisfaction of knowing that you won.
Can I sell that?
Probably on eBay.
Cool.
Just say that.
Right, so be looking out for Connor's satisfaction of winning going up on eBay, starting at like $1 billion.
Yeah, just
That's
say
probably what's worth
David
to me.
Hayter touched that satisfaction, so it's worth more.
Middle gear.
All
Satisfaction.
right, let's get into it. So here we go with trivia. Question number 1, sir.
Okay.
Who was Mario named after?
Oh, the landlord at Nintendo's original office. Was it Office?
That is correct.
Okay.
Yep. He was just a
Just
angry Italian man who was trying to make things hard for them, and so they were like, you know, it'd be funny.
let's name this not angry Italian man after this angry Italian man.
Yes,
And
exactly.
why is it in Japan? I just like a bunch of angry Italian men in Japan trying to hustle all these Japanese businessmen.
I don't know, man.
It's
But
funny.
all right, good job. Question number 2. What console was the PlayStation supposed to be a disc-based add-on for?
Oh, N64. No, Super Nintendo.
I almost took that one away from you.
No, it's Super Nintendo. Because I remember, because Nintendo tried to develop their own disc drive and then Nintendo 64 DD.
Yep.
But it was Super Nintendo. And then Nintendo was being stupid. And then Sony was like, we'll just take our PlayStation and go elsewhere.
And I'm so glad they did, because it
I don't
made both of those companies better.
But imagine if the Wii U and the PlayStation 4 were just one console.
The Wii 4, the Play U,
Play U.
PlayStation 4,
Play U 4.
the PlayStation 4 Wii.
Play U 4 Wii. You're like,
Yay.
but that'd be so cool.
Sounds horrifying.
Anyway.
All right. Okay, you're 2 for 2 now. So
Yeah.
if you hadn't noticed, anyone who's listening, this is a Nintendo themed set of trivia questions. So
Okay.
figured I'd make it a little easier for you. In Super Mario 64, question 3. In Super Mario 64, how did they achieve the laugh sound for the Boo ghosts?
The sped up Bowser's laugh. I keep kicking desks.
It's funny. I reminded you at the beginning of this to not touch the desk, and you've hit it like 3 or 4 times.
I know. I'm trying so hard.
You are a giant toddler. Okay.
Big lanky.
But that is correct. You are correct. Okay. This one's a little harder. You might get it though.
You might. I mean,
Who knows?
maybe.
Question 4. What Legend of Zelda character makes an uncredited guest appearance in Super Mario Sunshine?
Hold on. I'm going through that game in my mind, trying to uncredited Legend of Zelda guest character.
Mm-hmm. It's really obscure, but
Yeah, I'm trying to think. I want to go with one of the bosses.
Nope.
I'm trying to think. Okay, never mind then. All right.
time's up.
All right, give it to me.
So
I'm a fraud.
it is. Do you remember in Super Mario Sunshine, the one of the local giant round jolly people that constantly tries to challenge you to a race, but he's like pink?
Oh, I know what it is now. But okay.
Tell everybody what it
It's
is.
the running man from Ocarina of Time is under the Piantissimo mask.
Yes. I knew you knew it.
I knew it, but yeah, it's like
I was wondering
well,
if you
'cause
would
it's
make
not
the connection.
it's not blatant in the game.
Like I said,
you
it's
have to,
totally uncredited. It's a very obscure little like, oh hey, snap, that's that dude.
like you have to hack the game and then take the character model and remove the mask to even know it's there.
Yeah.
So, but I was like, I know what it is now.
Digging deep. All right. So you should be able to get this one too. So you've got 3 out of 4 so far.
Okay.
Which of these Pokemon games? Wait, what year were you born?
1995.
Okay. Hopefully you'll get this. If
I played
not-
all the Pokemon games.
Okay.
So
Which of these Pokemon games was not available in 1997?
Pokemon Red. Sorry, Pokemon Green.
Want to try again?
It's Pokemon Green.
Want to try one more
Because
time?
Pokemon Green came out in 1996. Pokemon Red and Blue version.
Was not available in 1997.
Oh, are you about to give me multiple choice questions?
No.
Oh.
Well, kind of, yeah. but meaning this is the game that you weren't able to get it in 1997 because it hadn't come out yet.
Oh, okay. Never mind.
Red, blue, yellow, or green?
Yellow.
Yes, it was yellow.
Okay, because I was trying to be like, well, in America,
no, I did my research. I made sure to line up the dates properly.
Brian hasn't. He played a little bit of Pokemon, but not too much.
I almost beat the. Wait, no, I eventually beat Pokemon Blue.
Almost only counts for horseshoes and hand grenades.
But I beat it. I just said I beat it. So no, shut up.
You said almost.
And then I retracted my statement. Okay. And this one is geared directly towards Connor. Connor is a competitive Smash player.
Oh, I was, but
okay.
I played Smash 4 for about a year.
And he's super good. I can't beat him at all. So this is kind of geared towards that. So bonus question.
Dead.
All right. In Smash Melee, which character is the only character who can't L cancel all of his aerials?
Oh, wow. Okay. Let's see. To go with Game & Watch, maybe?
It is.
Yeah.
It is Game & Watch.
Because for whatever reason, I know Game & Watch is not too high on the tier list. And I was wondering if that was the reason why no one uses him, because he's... But sweet.
Yeah, so... Yeah.
I almost guessed that. Educated guess.
Well, with the bonus question, you got 5 out of 6.
Was that the bonus question?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, that's pretty obscure.
Yeah, that's what I was going for. But you got it. You nailed
it.
So
sweet.
Good job, man. Cool. So,
all right. So look out for the what would you do? Something about winning. Satisfaction winning on eBay.
Touched by David Haters going up on eBay.
David Hater.
Yeah. So cool.
Not even signed. Just like he just sneezed on it.
Accidentally.
Metal Gear.
Metal Gear. That's how he sneezes.
It's not even in Metal Gear anymore.
That's perfect.
Anyway.
Okay, cool. So that's the end of the trivia. Good job, Connor.
Yeah, I'm a nerd.
So that brings us to the end of episode 1.
Cool.
Yeah, I had fun. This was a lot of fun.
I also enjoyed myself greatly.
I'm excited to keep doing this.
We'll be doing this for as long as we can both manage it.
Yeah, so. Which I don't think that should be an issue. We're going to try and upload new episodes every Monday.
Monday morning-ish?
Yeah, well, we'll do it Monday morning. So if you want to listen to it at work on Bummer Mondays, by all means, if we can make your Monday a little bit better,
hopefully
that would be great.
Listen to our dulcet tones.
So yeah, we got a couple plugs here.
So if you guys want to send us emails or follow us on Twitter. If you want to follow us on Twitter, it's Dragon Powercast at Dragon Powercast.
At Dragon Powercast.
I will be the one running that because Brian does not like Twitter.
I'm not a fan of Twitter.
And
but by all means, send us stuff on Twitter at Dragon Powercast.
At Dragon Powercast. And I think this is what it is, but I think it's if you want to send us questions, we'll probably add a segment. But I think it's dragonpowerpodcast at gmail.com.
Dragonpowerpodcast@gmail.com.
That's what I think that's what it is, right?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. All right. And then we have the Facebook page also.
Yeah, look us up there. There's not much on there since this is episode 1, but we'll make it look a little more shiny. We've got some artwork coming down the pipeline soon, so that should be good. I also want to give a shout out to a couple of friends I have. They have a podcast as well called MultiTap Podcast. They're based out of Sacramento. Really, really fun podcast. A lot of good people, good knowledgeable people. So I listen to their podcast as often as I can. So give them some love. Go check them out if you get a chance, and subscribe to them or follow them on Facebook and Twitter and
give
all that.
Give them all of your attention.
Absolutely.
So, that about covers it all.
All right, man. Well,
again, if you guys want to follow us, I'll be posting funny stuff. I'll also be telling y'all when it goes live.
Cool.
At Dragon Powercast from Twitter.
Sweet.
And if you want to send us questions, dragonpowerpodcast@gmail.com. What was that, Brian?
It is dragonpowerpodcast@gmail.com.
And if we get enough questions, we might do a segment next week.
Yeah, we'll throw in some questions next time.
See if y'all like...
We have 0 questions now because nobody exists yet.
No, none of our fans technically exist yet.
Perfect.
So,
all right. Well, thanks for listening, and we'll see you next Monday.
See y'all later.
All right. Bye.